Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, and welcome to Thursday's edition of the DC Universe Daily Live. And your headlines are today, and I'm going to read them off here. The DC Universe Daily has these headlines for you, right? Jason Momoa claims his big tease on Instagram has nothing to do with DC. We will get into it. Zach Krieger claims, and let me tell you what film he did. Zach Krieger, who directed Barbarian, is claiming he's going to direct the DC Universe movie, which is in the Batman universe. Not Matt Reeves' The Batman universe necessarily, because he wasn't that detailed. But could he be doing a Nightwing movie? I don't know. And The Rock is teasing that there's going to be huge announcements for Black Adam's spin-off project. So that's also very exciting, because ever since James Gunn and Peter Safran have been announced, The Rock has been somewhat quiet, which is interesting. So I want to talk about the Jason Momoa situation. I'm very, very disappointed in Jason Momoa. First of all, he teased something huge, a dream come true for him, on his Instagram. He knew damn well what people would think straight away. Zack Snyder's coming back, right? Justice League movies coming, whatever, right? He knows the Snyderverse fans. He knows what he was doing, right? Now, he's done a couple of interviews promoting his latest project. Don't care what it is, don't know what it is, right? So he's been asked directly if his excitement on Instagram is connected to James Gunn posting a picture of Lobo. He told one interview, go and research what my favorite comic book is, right? Another tease, non-committal, but kind of, but without saying it, right? He did it again in a second interview. Then he was interviewed by Sean O'Connell of Cinema Blend, where he said, is what you're teasing anything to do with Zack Snyder? Momoa categorically denied it and went deeper and said it's nothing to do with the DC thing, right? So this is interesting, because in one interview, he kind of confirmed that it's at least the DC project he's getting excited about. Now he's been interviewed by Cinema Blend and he's claiming what he's getting excited about, what he's teasing, is not a DC thing. This is what I think about this, and this is why I'm hugely disappointed with Jason. I love Jason. I think he's a great character. I loved him as Aquaman. I loved him in Game of Thrones. This is not me, spouting all-out war on Jason. I love the guy. I always will. He's got a project out there, as I've already said. So clearly what he's doing, he's trying to push attention onto a project that wouldn't have had much attention otherwise. This is not the 80s. This is not the 90s, where someone who's playing a superhero, or a film star can get people to watch it just because of his or her name. Those days have gone. People don't kind of add weight, to another project. We're not in the era of Schwarzenegger or Willis or whatever they did was successful because of them. It's all about the projects now. It's all about franchises. That's what people go to. They have franchise loyalty. So the cynical side of me is that this whole teasing started because he wanted to bring attention to his latest project. And if that's true, I'm hugely disappointed. Right. Short circuit. I think Momoa is not allowed to talk. That's why he's diverting from DC. Then maybe he shouldn't have teased it in the first place, because that's just I don't like this. I don't like giving fans false hope, right? It's like James Gunn yesterday. He was asked on this new social media platform, will you be announcing a DC slate soon? He goes, give us a chance. We've only just got here. But you're the one who made a huge Twitter thread and said you are doing the most ambitious thing ever that's spanning TV, animation, and films. So people think you're already ready to release a slate. Can't wait to tell you more, right? So again, you're giving people the false impression of things. Now, I understand they're trying to hype people up. There's 4 movies coming out next year that have nothing to do with them, that will probably have a minimal box office. So they're just trying to bring some hype into the DC universe. Short circuit, I think it's definitely regarding DC. I'm bored now, Short Circuit. Not with you, by the way. No disrespect, but I'm bored of the Momoa thing now because I'm not interested. If it's not a DC thing, I'm not interested. Why would I be? Now, he can celebrate and tease whatever he wants. I'm not being a dictator. But at the end of the day, he knows exactly what he's doing. That's what I'm saying. Villager, hi, Mick. A very good morning to you, Villager, and welcome to the DC Universe Daily Live. And so I'm kind of done with this now. Now, I don't even know why James Gunn posted a picture of Deadman or why he posted a picture of Lobo, whether he's planning Lobo and Deadman projects. I have no idea. That's fun. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you keep on teasing fans and when you say you've got the most ambitious plan, you can't get upset when they say, where's the slate then, mate? Right? I understand why there's not a slate. I understand. That's not a bad thing that James and Peter haven't given us a slate. As he says, he's only just got here, even though I think they've been working on a plan, a blueprint for the past 5 or 6 months. Secretly, I get that. Villager, what's the drama today? No drama, my friend. I'm not about the drama. I'm just talking about Jason Momoa and this Lobo thing. And now he's saying it's nothing to do with DC, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just explaining misleading fans. I don't like it when these cowboys do it on the internet. And I certainly don't like it when an actor I respect starts doing it. But who knows if he's playing Lobo? I don't know anymore. I don't know. I don't care if he plays Lobo. I don't mind if he does play Lobo. I think Lobo is a very exciting character, and I hope he does feature at least in this new rebooted Superman movie. But there's no drama. I just think by going on Instagram and teasing people who, you're definitely making people think it's about DC, and then you're in a couple of interviews and you say, yeah, we go and research the comic book I like, right? I mean, maybe he's joining Marvel. Who knows? Who knows anymore, right? But yeah, I just think it's a little bit misleading. And personally, I don't like it. Personally, I don't think it's a good look. Now, I understand that James Gunn wants to tease people, right? And get people excited for the future of DC. But the problem is we have 4 upcoming movies that really don't have much to do with the future from what I can see. So maybe just stay quiet a little bit. You know what, James? Forget the teasing. Just realize you've got these 4 movies coming up that have nothing to do with you, and there's nothing you can do with it. They're going to be a moderate success, I suppose. I don't expect them to be flops, but I don't believe they're anything to do with the future DC universe. They're a problem because they have, they're like the mess. They're like the mess after a party. You have to clean it up whether you want to or not. Villager, James saying that is very annoying, and it sounds like he's being passive-aggressive. And no, I don't think it's anything like that. He has every right to tease. He wants people excited for the future that he and Peter are planning. That's fine. My point is, right, I don't think he's being passive-aggressive. I just think he's being honest. We've only just got here. We haven't got a slate. We've got teasing things. But that's the point I'm making. What my point is, it's an advisory thing to James Gunn, not that he's watching or listens to me or should listen to me, right? I just feel when you start teasing people, they're going to start assuming you've got a plan and ready to unleash that plan. And here's the problem. Can they really release a slate with 4 movies from the old regime still coming out? He's still finishing up Guardians. Personally, I think it would have been a better idea to keep quiet. He's been announced now. Keep quiet. Focus on your Marvel movie. Then start talking and leave everything to Peter Safran until you're done with Marvel. To me, that's a better idea. Because as I keep on saying, we have these 4 Hamada movies. You are not going to be able to bring hype into those movies because people are not stupid. People already know. It's been leaked what Shazam! Fury of the God is. Shazam! Fury of the Gods is a paint-by-numbers superhero movie. It's not bad. It's not the best thing ever. It's a bit like Black Adam, right? It's the same thing as Black Adam. It's a good time at the cinema, and that's it. Shazam! Fury of the Gods doesn't save the Hamadaverse. Nothing can save the Hamadaverse because Hamada is gone anyway. So, I just think that maybe James should take a back seat until he's done with Guardians of the Galaxy. I think it's time to stop teasing stuff. I'm very excited about that Lobo post. But if you can't tell us anything, maybe it's better to just wait until you can announce stuff. Because why? I've just recorded a video which I'll be uploading later about Russell T Davies' comments about David Tennant not wearing Jodie Whittaker's costume because it will look like cosplay, and he's got himself in a lot of trouble. I somewhat feel that these creatives don't understand sometimes the hole they're digging for themselves, and I do think they do need a fan, maybe like me, to advise them on what to say and what not to say, because I think they live in a bubble and they don't get the passive-aggressive environment they're in these days. Because of social media, people with nothing else in their lives are there like this, waiting. It's their whole lives. Now, James Gunn has got a hot wife. He's got a great life away from movie making and entertainment. That's good. But the people, his consumers, haven't got much else than DC or Marvel. That's the truth of the matter. Good morning, John. Why did you retract your message? It's so annoying when people retract their messages, isn't it? I was literally thinking, yeah, I'm going to read the message now. And you bloody well retracted it. Never mind, John. I'm sure you're going to repost very, very shortly. So, yeah, that's my opinion on all those things. Now, if we go back to, because I can't remember his name without looking up there, I do apologize. Zach Krieger is teasing that he's going to direct the DC Universe movie that's connected with Batman. Now, I don't know what that means. Now, Zach Krieger, and I've forgotten already, Zach Krieger is a very good young director who directed Barbarian. So I like this idea already where they're bringing in people, young, unknown directors who have done little movies. That's a good idea, who they can say, right, we want you to do this, go and do this. So that's interesting. That was a bit of a surprise. And I think if it wasn't for the Jason Momoa stuff, that would have been a main headline. So I'll look forward to see what Zach Krieger is actually going to do. Directing a DC movie, he reckons. So what is he doing? Is he doing Nightwing? If it's in, like, Batman's world, I don't know. And what Batman universe is this in? This is so confusing. And look, as I say, this is what James Gunn should be doing instead of teasing his future slate, right, and getting everyone's knickers in a twist. He should make a statement. Forget about the haircut. Forget about bring back Legends of Tomorrow. Write a Twitter thread and tell us, who is the Batman in the DCEU? Is it Ben Affleck, right? Clarify things. Are you rebooting Henry Cavill's Superman or not? They're not spoilers. They're things they should clarify immediately. John, Jason said in one interview that his project has nothing to do with Zack Snyder. Well, we've just discussed it before you came in, John. And this is exactly what's been going on. In a couple of interviews, he kind of was saying in all roundabout ways to do with DC. Then, when he was interviewed by Sean O'Connell of Cinema Blend, he says, no, it's nothing to do with Zack Snyder. It's not a DC thing. So then he's saying it's not about DC, right? So I'm done now. It's not about DC. Bye-bye, boring. See you later. Basically, he's just trying to bring attention to his latest project, whatever that is. Villager, wait, didn't Henry confirm that he was back as Superman? Yeah. What do you mean? I don't understand. I'm saying just because Henry's back as Superman, it doesn't mean he's not a rebooted Superman. He can play a different version of Superman, right? So that's what I'm saying. So yes, he's already confirmed, but we're not talking about Henry, actually. We're talking about Jason Momoa, aren't we, Villager? So anyway, yeah. So that's what's going on, John. So I'm kind of bored now of the Jason Momoa and Lobo conversations. And something else that's kind of been confirmed out there in social media, which I told you about already. Again, I'm bang on the money again. No, Andy Muschietti won't be directing a Justice League movie in this world or the next. And as I said to you the other day, I had more of a chance of directing a Justice League movie than Andy Muschietti. He's from the Hamada. He's from the Hamadaverse. I don't think he has a future at DCU. This film will come out. If it comes out, I still don't trust them to release this film, but we'll have to wait and see. Let's see what happens there. This is DC. This is WB. Just because they say they're releasing 4 movies on their scheduled date doesn't mean they're actually going to release these 4 movies on their scheduled date. We've been here before, haven't we? So keep it here at Movies TV Mag. You'll be well informed We won't mislead you like some people are doing in and outside of the industry, and we will attempt to keep you updated. And they're today's headlines, basically. But I'm still very excited by James Gunn and Peter Safran being in charge. And David Zaslav has said that Marvel is 7 times more successful than DC. So he's just putting it out there that DC are basically so far behind of Marvel. And David is right. David is right. And he's ambitious, and he's not happy about the state of the DC franchise, because as a franchise, it's never worked. We're not talking about individual movies, quality of or lack thereof. We're talking about the franchise. The DCEU has never, ever worked as a franchise with branding that can bring back people for every single movie. You're going to see the box office, the frightening box office, and the power of the MCU this weekend with Wakanda Forever. Whether that's a good movie or not doesn't matter anymore. Doesn't matter. You know, it's not about that. It's about a reliable brand that people will come back for. They want that brand. People keep on watching that brand. Tom Holland has also just signed a new contract with Sony and Disney as well. So he will be able to do some Sony movies, and he'll be doing some stuff with the MCU as well. So that's exciting if you're a Marvel fan. Now, of course, I'm not a huge Marvel fan, but I'm a big Spider-Man fan. From the day I saw the animated series, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and actually the Amazing Spider-Man TV series, which wasn't great, but I kind of got into it as a kid every Friday night. So I've always been a big Spidey fan. So, and I think Tom Holland's great guy. Uncomplicated guy, very private guy with his girlfriend Zendaya. They're both great, lovely people. They come across that way anyway. I like the way they keep their relationship so private. She's very private. She doesn't come out with stupid comments or, you know, like a lot of them do. So I like her too. So, yeah, congratulations to Tom Holland for that. I can't wait to see what the next evolution in his Spider-Man era is, because Spider-Man No Way Home was an exciting movie. I know some people have made fun of the CGI, but at the end of the day, you cannot doubt the fact that that film gave fans exactly what they wanted. I've seen that film multiple times. It's great. Villager Zendaya has the best PR team in the world. She doesn't really need a PR team because she doesn't, this is what I'm saying, she's not out there pushing herself all the time. She goes to work, she does her job, right? She does the HBO show, she does her other movies, but then once the marketing's over, she goes home. She's very private, and that's what I like about her. She turns up at premieres, she looks delightful, but she's a very private person, as Tom is. That's why I respect them. She doesn't need a good PR team. There's nothing to PR. You know, she's not interested in pushing herself or being on with this movement or that movement. She's just a very private person. That's why I like her. Very talented young actor as well. And that's why I respect her. So I personally don't feel she needs a PR team. I think she's doing very, very well as it is. And I'd love her to come over to the new DC universe. Maybe that's possible. We will have to wait and see. She would be great. There's lots of characters in the DC universe she could play. But anyway, getting back to DC, so they are your headlines this morning. And at the end of the day, the Jason Momoa thing is getting a bit silly. You know, as I say, oh, yeah, I am, I'm not. You know, look, these things may be a call for some basic bees, but for me, I'm not a basic person, and I've got a little bit of grey matter out there. So at first, with the Lobo post with James Gunn, which I have no issue with, it's exciting. There's nothing to have an issue about. But then Jason Momoa, oh my God, I'm doing the most exciting project, you know. And at the end of the day, it's clearly him trying to get attention on his latest project. Villager Mick, the other day a fan tweeted they saw Taylor Swift hang out with Robert Pattinson and his girlfriend. Do you think she'll show up in the Batman too? Well, listen, she's getting into the acting, but you know, I'm followed by John Boyega on Twitter. It doesn't mean me and John Boyega are going to start making a film together. If you see me and John Boyega down the pub, it doesn't mean me and John Boyega are making a project together. So just because they're hanging out, maybe they're just mates. Because, you know, famous people hang around with famous people because famous people can't trust non-famous people because they don't know their motives for hanging around with them. So it's probably just a bunch of friends. It's probably just all innocent. But Who knows? Yes, she could easily join the Batman. She is in the acting circuit as well now. And I don't particularly like Taylor as a person, but I think she's a very talented young artist. And yeah, I'd love to be able to brag that Taylor Swift is part of the DC universe. And just to reiterate a couple of headlines from yesterday, James Gunn was also asked if the Batman and the Joker universes are part of DC Studios. James Gunn said all DC movies, TV, and animation are now part of DC Studios. And Matt Reeves was one of the first people he called when he got the job. So a bit of clarification, because the Hollywood Reporter tried to say that Adby and DeLuca at Warner Brothers Pictures would be running the Joker and the Batman movies. That's not true. And James also confirmed that he and Peter would be producing Joker and the Batman 2 as well as the HBO Max, the Batman spin-off show. Now, that's not shocking. Walter Hamada produced the Batman and the Joker movie because he was the DC film president. Now, Peter and James are the co-chairs of DC Studios. So you're not going to have a couple of DC movies not part of DC Studios. That wouldn't make sense. John, James Gunn started following the actress from Birds of Prey. Do you think that means something? No, I've seen this so many times. I've seen this one follow that one, and it means absolute nothing. She's an actress. She's followed him. He's followed her back because she's an actress. Now, it could mean she's still going to play Black Canary, but I don't know. I'm not too sure. I don't think that's going to be a thing. But again, I could be wrong because I am at least wrong a couple of times a year. So who knows? But I don't think that's the reason. And again, because I do follow this DC, home of DCU now. And yeah, a lot of the stuff they post is from, let's just say, people that can't be trusted. And also, I also noticed they add 2 and 2 and get 6 a lot of the times as well. And they seem to really believe that the Flash film news is this place with official news. It's not. They're part of the bullshit as well. So yeah, you really got to be careful who you believe on the internet. Villager. So they're propaganda merchants. Listen, some of the things are cool and they kind of post information that's out there already. Look, I follow people because they're going to post some stuff that is important to me. I found the stuff I find out to talk about on here is from Twitter. I don't Google anything. It's all on my Twitter. So I follow certain people who are an advantage to me so I don't have to search information too much. So it's good to follow these DC accounts. I do end up getting blocked by a lot of them because I quote tweet my honest opinions. As you can see, I'm very direct and I'm very honest about these things. But yeah, listen, at the end of the day, you just got to be careful. You just got to be careful who you believe in life. And just remember, if it's not coming officially from James Gunn, Peter Safran, or Warner Brothers Discovery, or someone who works with them or for them, it's bullshit. And a lot of the times I come on here and someone says to me, oh, Mick, someone posted this on Twitter. Is it true? Well, what do you think? What you have to do is use your common sense. If it's not official, it is not true. If an actor talks about it, like, what's his name again? Forgot already. Zach Krieger directing a DC universe movie in Batman's world. Now, that's the director. So that's interesting. That comes from home of DCU as well. But if he said it, he said it. Now, he did Barbarian. He's a very good young director. So we'll wait and see what he's actually directing there. Look, despite what James Gunn says, I believe they've been working on their blueprint for 5 or 6 months, and they know exactly what their slate for the next few years is going to be. And sooner rather than later, they will release it. And that will be a very exciting day for us fans, won't it? Villager, do you think David will direct another DC movie? David who? There's lots of Davids out there. Are you talking about David Ayer? Who are you talking about? People do this to me a lot, by the way. They just assume I'm going to know. Hashtag me, David Ayer. Villager, David F. Sandberg. That's a very, very good question, Villager, actually. And he's another Hamada director. So he's worked with Walter over on the New Line Cinema horror division. That's why he came over to DC. He's done a good job with Shazam. It all depends. If we're going to DC Universe and it's totally separate, They may use these people again. They may not use these people again. They may think David F. Sandberg is a very capable director. Why don't we use him? And David will probably be happy with whatever instructions is given to him because he's that type of director. He's not, oh no, I want my vision followed. I want my, and all of that crap. He's a director who was doing as he was told with like the Shazam movie. He literally is just a director. So they could use him again. I don't think it's beyond the realms of possibility. If we are in a different universe, they may go to David, you know what, you did a good job previously, do it again. Maybe, maybe not. So I definitely wouldn't say, it's beyond the realms of possibility. Please smash a like on the like button, please. We have 2 likes, 6 viewers. Welcome to the DC Universe Daily Live. Hashling, me, yo, Mike, hello. But that's what's basically going on right now. And David Zaslav is right. Marvel is much bigger than DC at this moment. It's a successful brand. And this is what James and Peter and everyone at the studio now are trying to make DC Universe into a brand that people believe is reliable and that they have to come in for every project. So that's what the future is all about. And this DCEU, which we still got 4 movies from, by the way, next year, is not a reliable brand. It's why Black Adam is going to make 400 million, around Shazam money, by the way. So slightly a little bit more than Shazam, but I called it, didn't I? I said this was the kind of money it was going to make. It was never going to make big money. I don't know why some people are either disappointed or surprised. I mean, people do astound me sometimes with their takes. I mean, no common sense whatsoever. Why should Black Adam, a very unknown character, make lots and lots of money in a franchise that simply hasn't worked, as we all know? So really, for me, the excitement levels for me, I can't wait to see next year's movies. They're DC movies, of course. But what I'm interested in now is the first movie in the new DC universe, which is going to be Superman, which is either going to be a rebooted Superman, which I think it will be a rebooted Superman, by the way. So that's the thing I'm really excited about talking about. And the pressure on that film is huge, not just because it's the first movie in the new DC universe, it's Superman. And they need to find the answer to that question of making Superman relatable in the modern day. As I say, Man of Steel is a very, very good movie. But at the end of the day, it didn't do what they wanted it to do. There's reasons for it. Because, it's not a mystery. It's not a mystery why Man of Steel didn't clear $1 billion, right? It's all there in the piece. Now, I like the film mostly, but there are a couple of moments that probably kind of were ill-conceived to put in. Jonathan's telling his son he shouldn't have saved the bus. What do you expect me to do? Let them die? Maybe. Now, as an intelligent person, I understand what Jonathan's saying to his son. Listen, you're a fucking alien, mate. They find out who you are, they're going to experiment on you. He's trying to protect his son, but the line of dialogue was weaponized on the internet, as many things are done these days. We all know that Jonathan wasn't telling his son, yeah, you should have let them die. He's saying, look, you're my responsibility, young man. I can't allow anything to happen to you. I've literally adopted you. You're my responsibility. And if they find out about you, that's it. You're finished. They could experiment with you with kryptonite. They could find out about kryptonite. They could fuck you over. I'm trying to protect you here. That's what Jonathan meant. He didn't mean, go and let a bunch of people die, right? He's saying, you're more important than they are to me, right? Because we see what Jonathan does in the tornado sequence. He shows an example of heroism. He's telling everyone to get under the underpass, as we discussed before. So Jonathan is a good character in Man of Steel, but what he was doing there, it was ill-conceived to have that line of dialogue. And then, of course, you've got the neck-breaking moment, Zod's neck-breaking moment, which was also problematic, which I think directly hurt the film from making more money. The film is a stunning-looking film, well-made, well-directed. There's lots of bright and happy moments. When Superman is flying for the first time, he's smiling, he's laughing, he's happy. That's Superman. He has a great relationship with his adopted mother, and his relationship with Lois is pretty solid as well. So there's some great light moments in the film. It's not a totally dark movie. Villager, do you think Michael Shannon will come back for the Superman movie? Well, I suppose that depends at the end of the day if it's the same universe, if it's the same Superman from Man of Steel, or if it's a new Superman. I think it's unlikely. But if Jason Momoa is playing Lobo, that proves that actors from the DCEU could be involved in the new DC universe as well. So there's always a chance, but we'll see. I think it's somewhat unlikely. I'm surprised that Shannon reprised his role for the Flash movie. I thought he wouldn't come near DC again, especially without Zach being involved. So that surprised me. Maybe it was in his contract that he had to come back. Not too sure about that one, but they are the type of contracts they do sign for sequels and cameos and shit like that. So again, anything's possible, but if it's a new universe, highly unlikely. I don't think we'll see Zod in a Superman movie for a long time. Yeah, I think he was used. He was used in Superman the movie, Superman 2. He's been used in Smallville. So yeah, I think we may be giving Zod a rest for now and going for characters like Lobo, because quite frankly, these are great characters. These ain't grade Z's. I mean, Lobo's probably more famous to DC fans than Black Adam is, and he's probably more relevant. I suppose that's a hot take, but yeah. John, if they don't make Superman relatable in the next movie, it could all go wrong. Right. If they get this Superman movie wrong and the general audience don't relate to it, then you and I will never see a Superman film again in our lifetime, and the new DC universe will already be fucked, because this first film, which I'm assuming is the Superman film, will be judged. They're under a lot of pressure to make this work. Villager, I'm still mad about Black Adam. It wasn't as good as he was in the comics. Yeah, listen, he's somewhat comic book accurate, but he doesn't, I don't think he necessarily looks that well, but this is what happens when you adapt things from page to screen. It can't all be exactly how you would like it. And I think there's a misunderstanding in fandoms where they expect things to be copy and pasted. And there's some things from the comics you simply can't copy and paste. It's very challenging. And unless you've tried to do that before, you don't get it. It's in the comics. Why can't you do it? Well, it's a challenge. It's difficult, and not everything can be done. There's some things they could have done better. Films and television are made by human beings. Well, human beings are flawed. They can't do everything perfectly, right? Or your idea of perfect. So, yeah, I think that movie is very fun, action-packed, it's entertaining. It did what it was always going to do. And I'm unsurprised by that movie. I'm unsurprised by that film's box office. And the studio are quite happy with the box office and happy with the movie. And they move on. Villager, he could have at least gotten some fake elf ears and an accent. Yes, but he can't put on an accent. Look, we know The Rock isn't that kind of actor, my friend. You're always going to get The Rock playing The Rock. That's the situation. He's powerful enough to be able to get the role that he wanted. And I mean, how important is the ears? Why is it important to get those elf ears? How important is it? Did it really spoil your enjoyment of the film just because he's not got elf ears? Is it that important? It's not. I don't think, look, not to me, right? I think the film was entertaining. It worked. He feels like Black Adam. He's more of an anti-hero in this film. Again, it's part of adapting something and making it relatable on screen. Not that he's not relatable in the comics, but he's not really. Listen, he ain't a huge character in the comics. He's literally just the villain for Shazam. Nothing more than that. That's why his movie, two reasons. His movie didn't make much money because he's not a huge figure. And secondly, the DCEU hasn't got that branding where people come in for any old movie. And we're going to have to earn that. Please smash the like button, everyone. There's 7 of you in the chat watching me using up my oxygen. The least you can do is smash the like button. So to me personally, that's not a big deal. They could have done that, but they decided not to. So, and I think he just would have looked stupid with those ears because it's The Rock. Once you cast The Rock as, a well-known character, that's what happens. Patrick Cahill, Oh, are you trying to say you liked it? Thank you, if that's what you're trying to say. So anyway, welcome to the DC Universe Daily Live. Your main headlines are pinned on the top there. Should we go over them one more time? So I'm always reading the top part, right? Let's start again. So Jason Momoa, it's not about DC. Zach Krieger directing a DC movie, and The Rock teases Black Adam project. So they're your headlines today. Zach Krieger is a young director who's claiming he's going to direct a DC Universe movie connected to Batman, but not Batman, but connected to Batman's universe. What universe that's in, I have no idea, but it is a movie. I think we know that Zaslav doesn't want DC movies on HBO Max, so I would make the assumption this will be released in cinemas. So already, plans are afoot. When I tell you this, please believe me, they've already got a slate in their mind. They know what they're going to be doing in the next few years. Villager, what did The Rock tease? All he said was there's going to be some Black Adam projects announced soon. I'm assuming it's something to do with Dr. Fate or the JSA rather than a Black Adam sequel, but we will wait and see. This proves that the studio are happy with the movie. And you people saying it's a flop, this and that, clearly they're happy with it. And they know more about profit margins than you do because they've spent the money on the movie. So basically, Black Adam is a solid hit. End of story. Done. Finito. Finished. Otherwise, it wouldn't be getting spin-offs, would it? Would it? So that's what he's teased, my friend. So I'm excited. Let's see what he's talking about. He could be talking out of his arse, of course. But we're still waiting for that Flash trailer. 6 months ago, Barbara Machete said we were getting a Flash trailer soon. We're still waiting. So these people do talk bullshit. So if we do get The Rock did say that this is phase one of the new DC universe, which is interesting. That's what he's trying to suggest. What does that mean for the other movies, though? It's rather confusing, and this is why I want clarification, not just for myself, but for you and all the DC fans who are hyped about the future. We don't really know what the connection is from the Hamada movies to the new universe, because Gunn has called this a new universe. So what that entirely means, we don't know. And I think it's time, instead of, posting pictures of this and that and teases, time to tell us what's going on. What is the correlation between the DCEU and the DCU? Is there a connection? Isn't there a connection? You can at least clarify that, because I think it's important. It really is. Because communication is key, and it's great that they communicated last week about the haircut and things like that. That's great, but ultimately that's not important. What's important is you clarify who's going to be Batman in the new DC universe. What the correlation between the DCEU and the DCU. These are the important questions. These are the questions that fans are asking. And I know there's a minority of people asking to release the haircut. I wouldn't mind that happening. Only fair. But at the end of the day, that's then. This is now, and we're trying to move forward. Villager, lol, they have learned nothing. They are still playing games with the fans and keeping things vague so that we stay confused. Yeah, I think it's definitely something they have to think about revealing, because things like telling us who Batman's going to be in this new universe isn't really a spoiler. Let us know what the connection and correlation of the DCEU and the DCU, what connection that has. I think these things that are actually stuff you should have just basically confirmed already. It will be huge. People will be hyped. So yeah, we need to be told that sooner rather than later, because we're still sitting here wondering, who's Batman? What's going on with Superman? Is it a these are simple things. These are not even spoilers. These are simple things that Feige would have already clarified. Villager, it's the bare minimum, and they can't even do that. Yeah, it's the bare minimum. As I say, it's pointless teasing stuff about the future when you haven't even clarified where we're going and what the connections are to the past, the present, and the future. And we don't live in the 80s and 90s. People want some substance. People want to know what they're going to consume. They need, so whether you think that's right or wrong, because we get too much information on movies today, it is what it is. We are here. We're not then anymore. So in the 80s, where we had no internet and we were just sitting here until the release date, that was different, right? It was different gravy. The only hype we used to get for movies back in the day was posters and one trailer and maybe a TV spot. That's all we got. Imagine that. So, Villager, you are correct. It's the bare minimum. Tell us who Batman is in your new universe. Tell us if the Superman movie continues from the DCEU or if it's a rebooted one for the DCU. These are things that you can easily tell us. And these are things that need clarifying rather than, as I say, posting stuff, which is very exciting. And Jason Momoa basically masturbating on Instagram going, oh my God, I've just been given a project. It's such a dream. There's no need. They're not the things we want to see. And the Momoa thing is batshit crazy because now he's stepping back from it and saying it's nothing to do with DC. But then home of DCU saying, well, the thing on November the 6th on Instagram is nothing to do with DC, but there's something else that is something to do with DC. Look, if you're not confused yet, you will be fucking 2 syllables fucking later. It's ridiculous. Villager, that made me laugh so hard. Well, it's fucking true. And I'll go back and say this, whether you like the Snyderverse or the Snyder fans or not, he literally damn well fucking knew by that tease he made, calling someone maestro, right, that the Snyder fans would make the wrong assumption because they're desperate for Zack to come back. And he's misleading people. Then we get the Lobo poster. He's asked about the Lobo thing at first, and he kind of says, well, you know what my favorite comic is. Then he talks to someone else and says it's not a DC thing, right? So all that teasing basically to bring attention to a project no one was going to watch, which is his latest project, whatever it is, whatever it's called, TV or movie, don't give a shit, don't care. But these are the tactics. I don't like people being misled. There's no need for it. James Gunn's done nothing wrong. He's just posted a picture of Deadman and Lobo, and that's fine. Gets us excited, right? Maybe they're not even doing those characters, but it's just a bit of hype. I get it. But what Jason Momoa is doing, and I love the lad, I still love the lad, I haven't changed my mind, I think he's great, but this is wrong. This is wrong. Stop it. Stop it now, Jason. Enough's enough. I know what you're trying to do. You're bringing hype to your latest project, but I don't like it. So can we stop doing that? Let's not mislead people. It's unfair because people, as I said before, are innocent, naive, and passionate, and they just love DC. And they just want some honesty. Excuse me. But yeah, just some honesty. That's it. Listen, what I'd say to James Gunn is what I said earlier. What I'm saying about the James Gunn situation is what I said earlier, which is if you're not ready to reveal your slate, button it. Stop posting things, stop teasing things, get on with finishing your Marvel movie and let Peter Safran get on with the business that he's got to get on with. Because if you're not ready to reveal a slate, don't start bragging about having something that's spanning TV, movies, and animation. Because people think, well, he knows what he's going to do. Surely there's a slate. But then you get surprised when people ask you for a slate. See, you can't have one thing but the other, right? So the best thing is we've got 4 movies coming out next year. Let's focus on them. If you're not ready to reveal the future or kind of confirm whose Batman is in the future, is this a Superman reboot, things like that. SLCA, will there be more projects unrelated to the DCU? Will DJ try to make a separate Black Adam series like Matt Reeves' Batman universe? Ronnie Dodge. Morning, Mick. Good morning, Ronnie, and welcome to the DC Universe Daily Live. I don't think that anything's going to be unrelated to DC Universe going forward, my friend. I think they will attempt to try and unite Joker and Batman with the DC Universe, unless basically the Batman is going to do his spin-offs, do Batman 2, and that'll be it, and they'll wrap it up. Then it doesn't matter if it's part of things. They're just going to wrap it up and finish with it, like the 4 Hamada movies next year. So I don't think Black Adam is going to be separate. That would be ridiculous, and that's not what they're trying to do, because you're just confusing people then, right? So it's not, no, I don't see that happening. Ronnie Dodge, maybe I got my Lobo thing right. Villager, wasn't a Batman trilogy confirmed? He said he'd like to make a Batman trilogy, but Batman 3 hasn't been confirmed when hasn't even started shooting Batman 2 yet, my friend. Anyway, well, Here's the thing about Lobo, Ronnie. I don't know if you're in the loop, but Jason Momoa was teasing about his favourite comic book. Then he went on Cinema Blend with Sean O'Connell. He was asked if it was connected to Zack Snyder, and Jason said, no, it's nothing to do with the DC thing. So we don't know where we are anymore. So I'm actually bored of it now because I don't know. It just seems to me Jason's just trying to bring hype to his latest project, and that's it. And I, as I said before you came in, I don't like seeing fans misled. It is not fair. Villager, also, I hope we get a multiverse movie and a Rob Batman fights Phoenix Joker. That would be amazing. Oh, yeah. Look, let's be fucking clear here. You've already got a fucking great Joker in Phoenix, right? Phoenix is coming back for a sequel. He never does sequels, by the way, right? So you've got Robert Pattinson, who's well respected. I'm sure he'd love to be his Joker. So something can be done here to unite all of this, or you'll have to move on. You know, you have to let these guys finish off their visions and move on from it. Because I think we are going to a unified universe totally. I don't believe there's going to be separate universes. They may deal with the multiverse. The best thing to launch a multiverse is to do a movie explaining that multiverse, because you really do need a paint by numbers explanation of the multiverse, because people are easily confused. Ronnie George, I feel Zack isn't coming back. That's it for me. It's not even a subject for me, really, because, yeah, it's not a thing. That's not the point. The point is I don't want Jason Momoa bringing hype to his own new project because no one was going to watch it. 1 minute he's saying it's to do with DC, then he's saying it's not to do with DC. So I'm kind of bored of it now. Ryan Dodge or Barry's Joker becomes the DCU Joker. I'm starting to think that Barry's Joker may not even be a thing in the Reeves universe. John Phoenix was going to be Doctor Strange at one point. Yeah, and he thought fucking better of it. And even Benny Cumberbatch is kind of disappointed that there's no character development. It's all about just moving the universe on. He made a comment the other day. But I don't think that Joaquin even considered that for 5 seconds. They clearly offered it to him. He would have been a fucking mad Doctor Strange. He would have been amazing. But that's not for him. He would have been offered it and he would have said no straight away after he finished laughing. So he wasn't going to be Doctor Strange, my friend. He was offered the role and he said no. Villager, Benedict says he'll play Doctor Strange forever. He has said that in the past, but what the comment I just said about is a recent one. But I don't believe that, if I'm being honest. I think he was just saving face. The problem is Benedict Cumberbatch became successful because of Sherlock, and then he's just taking easy money. That's disappointing. Ronnie Dodge, Dr. Fate had more character development in Black Adam. Yeah, Dr. Fate, you know, you can't help but give him character development. This is a guy who's wearing this helmet. It's addictive. It destroys you psychologically. It's taken everything away from him. And, you know, it's a very, you know, the helmet of Naboo is a very interesting concept, isn't it? And I want to see that expanded upon. I think Smallville also did a great job with Dr. Fate. Some people say he doesn't look that good. I think he looks amazing in it. And I thought the actor who played Kent Nelson in Smallville, he gave a wonderful performance. So, yeah, Dr. Fate is a brilliant character, and I can't wait to see more of him if we indeed do. So, yeah, Black Adam is a solid movie to view, very exciting, and with solid box office. And that's it. That's it. And if you haven't heard, Ronnie, you read my pinned headlines up there. The Rock has been teasing that announcements for Black Adam spin-offs are coming soon. Ronnie George, when rewatching Black Adam, Kent must have been given the helmet around World War I, as he was around 100 years up. Yeah, probably. I think you're right with that mathematics. Well done, Ronnie. 5 stars to you. On Thursday, I'll tell you what, if Amazon don't deliver my fucking phone today, I'm going to go nuts. They don't deliver anything here. Scumbuckets. We're going to stay live for another 10 minutes, so keep on posting. John Smallville had my favourite version of Hawkman. Yeah, listen, look, some people don't like his Bale voice, but I thought he was really good. Michael Shanks is a really good actor. Of course, we know him from other TV shows. Really good actor. I thought he was a very good version of the character. And it's a shame we never met. I don't think we met Shayara. We met Shayara in Legend, and she wasn't great, was she? Villager, no, stay for another hour, please. I'm bored at work. Sorry, mate. Can't be done. But I am back tonight after my dinner for a couple of hours. I'm here every evening for a couple of hours. So, yeah, I can't stay for a couple of hours now. Got stuff to do. We've got rehearsals, things like that going on. Ronnie Dodge, don't worry. Amazon is in my doghouse waiting for an air fryer. You see, when you're in England, Ronnie, it's easy to get stuff here. They don't know where I am. It stays at a depot, and my mate who works there eventually 6 months later brings me stuff. But I need a bloody phone because I'm fed up of using Twitter on my laptop and WhatsApp on my laptop. It's not as much fucking fun. And I don't want to do TikTok and Instagram on a fucking laptop. I don't want to sit here like this. You know, it's annoying because my phone won't bloody take the charger anymore. Jesus Christ. Villager, you don't have a phone. Well, I do have a phone, but it's dead because I can't charge it. It's a Moto. I love the Motos. I'm getting another Moto. I think they're really good, easy to use phones. I did have an iPhone years ago. I didn't know where the back button was, so I sold it to my niece. Fucking hell, man. So, yeah, I mean, isn't it pathetic how we can't live without our tech, though? It's so pathetic. We are such... the evolution of human beings, I'm calling it devolution. So there are your headlines this morning. And obviously we're going to get a lot more stuff in the coming weeks and months about the new DC universe. But what I want from James Gunn coming up is no more teases. I want to know who the Batman's going to be, or who isn't going to. Basically tell us that Affleck's not the Batman anymore. Tell us that Michael Keaton's not Batman in the new DCU. And you don't have to tell us who is the Batman, but you can tell us, right, who's not the Batman. In fact, maybe you can tell us all this by casting someone in the coming months. Maybe that will be a better way of doing it. Ronnie Dodge, I feel a JSA spin-off is coming. Yeah, well, yeah, The Rock's teasing something. Because as I say, I mean, he's one of the few people who I haven't seen say, oh, James Gunn, you know, licking his butt or anything. Most people have been like, oh, my God, James Gunn, you're so amazing. So glad you're here. But The Rock, I suppose, The Rock is like Zod. He doesn't kneel to anyone. They kneel to him. Kneel before Zod! Zod! I'll tell you a funny story about Terence Stamp, who played General Zod in Superman the movie and Superman 2. So he was walking down the streets in southeast London because he's British, and these three louts go to him, oi, are you that Zod? So Terry goes, smile when you say that. And he said it really loudly like Zod, so they peeled away and shit themselves. I don't know if you've seen the interview when he said that, but I always think that's fucking hilarious. And he actually reckons that Zod's more of a hero than Superman. I just think the guy is really fun. I do like Terence Stamp's Zod. I love what Michael Shannon did, but I still don't think that Shannon Zod devalues Terence Stamp's Zod. Terence Stamp's Zod is an evil fucker. I like him because he hasn't really got a reason for being evil. He's not like Shannon Zod. There's not this deep thing, but he's fun. I like what he does to that president. That guy's pretending to be the president, right? So Zod clicks it, right? And he kneels down straight away and goes, you're not the president. No one who leads so many could possibly kneel so quickly. And I just loved that. He was great. Ronnie George, we see Shannon Zod again in the Flash, so that's good. Yeah, listen, one last time, I'm assuming. But yeah, look, Michael was great. But we got to remember, it's not Goya, Nolan, and Snyder working with him this time. It's Christina Hodson and Andy Muschietti. So we'll see. We'll see. Christina Hodson should never have been near any fucking thing. Something tells me Christina won't be writing any more DC movies. I think I'm a bit spot on there. So when you've got someone, this is why Hamada hasn't got a job anymore, by the way. Christina Hodson failed with Birds of Prey. Bumblebee was okay, but not great. So she's never proven herself. She had no right on being on a Flashpoint movie. And don't forget, this is the hugest film in the old DCEU because they were going to change the timeline. And they let her do it. Now, I like Christina. When I hear Christina talking, she seems very excitable, but she hasn't got the ability. Ronnie George, James saying that they just got there answering questions about a slate, so probably Comic-Con. Well, I said this earlier and I said this last night, Ronnie, but I'll repeat for you. Villager low. Is Hamada broke now? Oh no, don't worry about him. He'll be eating caviar tonight. But this is what I'm saying, right? He's come in. He's boasting about the biggest story in TV, animation, and film. And then he's teasing Lobo and Deadman. So people are going to assume you're going to release the slate at any time. So at the end of the day, you know, once you start teasing people, they make assumptions and they make demands of you, right? People get impatient. So if you just keep your mouth shut, right, then people aren't going to say, where's the slate? Because they're going to say, well, you just started working. But the truth is, as I've said many times, they've been working on this blueprint for the past 5 or 6 months. So they do know exactly what they're doing. Also, Ronnie, because I know you've just come in, also we've got news from Zach Krieger. He's apparently directing a DC Universe movie connected to Batman as well. So that's interesting. And I have to look at again to remember what film he did. Yeah, but Zach Krieger directed the Barbarian movie. So he's a young director. I think this is the kind of thing we'll be doing a lot with DC directors, rather than getting these all tours in, doing what the MCU do, get young kind of directors who aren't going to have overinflated egos and are allowed. You're going to direct the directors. This is what happens with a franchise. You got about 4 minutes before I sign off, but I will be back tonight. Running Dodge. Oh, that's interesting. Is that the Reeves Batman? Well, this is the thing. He hasn't clarified whose Batman world this is. He's just said he's making a DC Universe movie, which is set kind of adjacent to Batman. That's exactly what he said. Set adjacent to Batman. Not the Batman, but to Batman. So that's interesting. Could he be kind of playing us a bit? Maybe it is a Batman movie in the new DC Universe. So that's interesting, but there's nothing else on top of that for us to play with right now. But as I say, James and Peter, David, Mike, and Pam have worked out a slate already. They know exactly what they're going to be doing in the next 5 or 10 years. Villager, do you think Feige felt threatened by the news of the new DC presidents and the new regime, etc.? Maybe behind the scenes, he isn't exactly happy about it. Well, listen, Villager, it doesn't really matter to him. He's built something. He's got automatic box office. Now, personally, if I was Feige, I would have offered James Gunn the opportunity to work with me as my equal partner. Because with James Gunn, it halves the load. Because Feige, since he's become president, you know, it's different gravy becoming Marvel Studios president. Before, he was basically setting up the narrative of the movie, and he wasn't under so much pressure. Well, now it's all on him. And we've seen how it's gone wrong with the VFX artists reporting that they're treated badly. So I think he could have done with, you know, teaming up with James Gunn. But I don't think he's intimidated. There's no reason to be intimidated. They, you know, both franchises can be successful without hurting the others. Ronnie Dodge, oh, sounds like DCU Batman then. Sounds like it, doesn't it? Now, he said adjacent to Batman, whatever that means. Ronnie Dodge, Feige wasn't happy about James. You can tell in the interview when the news broke, and everyone at DC seems exciting. Well, yeah, he did say he doesn't know how he can do anything before May. So, yeah, listen, he ain't going to be happy about losing a talented person like James Gunn. No one would. But that was all set in motion once Disney fired him. You know, and that can't be helped, I'm afraid. It is what it is. But it'll be interesting if Feige ever offered James Gunn the opportunity to be a co-lead at Marvel Studios, because basically, I think James at DC is going to be in the position Kevin was before he was made Marvel Studios president, where he was just working on the narrative. And I think this is what James worked. The only job James has got really is literally to be in charge of the films directly and the narrative, who's going to direct them. And then like Peter will be doing the rest of it. So that takes a lot of pressure away from James, and he can make his own movies, not necessarily always with DC. Apparently he was meant to be doing some kind of Acme movie, Coyote movie, Looney Tunes movie, which would be amazing. And so, yeah, and he's exclusively ours now. He's exclusively WB's, which has also got Zaslav's fingerprints all over it, because we know how pissed off he was that Bad Robots and JJ's deal was non-exclusive. Ronnie Dodge, once he's finished his Guardians 3, he's all DCU focused. Yep. Ronnie Dodge, James Gunn being Patty Jenkins' boss is just brilliant. Sorry, it is. Well, look, I hope he's not her boss, and I hope she won't be involved with DC. I'm very passionate about that. And if they allow her to continue with Wonder Woman, I am very, very concerned. But what could happen is James takes a big role on that movie. He co-writes it. I think he's going to co-write most of the DC Universe movies. I think that's part of his job, because he's a writer. So he can really make sure these movies are the best they can be. So I don't think it's a good idea to police a bad director. I would rather you bring in someone competent, because she's a problem. She doesn't like people interfering with her work. She wants her own ideas. And in Wonder Woman 84, her ideas weren't great. So I think that's about it for today's DC Universe Daily Live. I want to thank you all for coming in. As usual, I think we're growing a little bit since we started doing these lives again. So what's going on for the rest of the day here on Movies TV Man? So we continue the subject of Russell T Davies and this situation with his comments on the Doctor Who magazine. So I've recorded a video that will be uploaded later on. And tonight I'll be back live with our daily evening live chat, and I'll look forward to that as well. Ronnie Dodge, she won't be happy because it's a connective universe now. Oh, well, shit happens. Listen, I don't care about her happiness. I mean, personally, I think she shot her load with Wonder Woman 84. And if it was me and it was up to me, as soon as I saw that movie, she would have been out the door. But she was made to... Her third film was greenlit by Hamada and Emmerich before Wonder Woman 84 even was released, or just as it was released. That's fucking ridiculous. And so it's a bit of a mess right now that James and Peter and Zaslav are going to have to fix. Ronnie Dodge, give a new director for the third movie, if it was me. And yeah, this is interesting because we're crossing over to DC Universe now. So is it a third movie, or is it a totally rebooted Wonder Woman? These are the kind of questions we actually need answering, James, instead of you teasing Lobo and Deadman. This has been Movies TV Man. I am Mick, your host with the most, just ask your girlfriends and your wife. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection. And I'll see you again in the next video. Until I see you again, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen. Ronnie Dodge, I hope they keep the World War I story. We will see, Ronnie. This is the problem. We need clarification. Instead of posts and pictures and teases, clarify certain situations. Ronnie Dodge, bye, mate. Bye, Ronnie. Thank you for the comments and interactions. Smash the like button before you leave. I'm off now for a well-earned cup of tea. See you tonight.